Actually, I'm going to need a cup of water in a little bit because I want to do a demonstration on inking and all, and I'll leave you a cup of water. Let me think. I need a little technology. In today's class, last week I kind of gave you the what for, wherewithal, and everything about the storyboarding in the nutshell in the quick, short version. And I gave you a short script and asked you to illustrate some thumbnails, graphs, and sketches and plans of attack, which today you have brought in, and I'm going to get a chance to look at, and it'll be your first grade of the quarter. Congratulations. It's a one-on-one deal. Before I do that, actually, I'm going to do a quick, brief glance at one or two of your thumbnails, and I'm going to steal one temporarily. I'm going to blow it up to the right size, and I'm going to have to figure out the combination of that thing because it's not mine. Pull out a light. By the way, Stephen, are there lights under that?
No.
Okay, we need some lights under it. And I want to do a little demonstration using one of yours as my guide. Okay. After I do that is when I'm probably going to then have the time to kind of walk around, take a look at your thumbnails and roughs. And I'm going to be clear about one thing. I'm probably not going to look at what you've roughed out and planned out and said, oh, that's trash, give it up. You know, I promise you, that's not going to happen. Okay, I'm going to give you bits of advice. Okay, this is a good-looking image here. The composition of this probably can be rethought, something like that. I may alter or give you some advice, but it's initially or eventually still up to you to do the final. Okay, we have X amount of time in class. Now here's where some time management, class management, et cetera, is going to come into play. I am going to take up some of your time to show you one-on-one how I approach, you know, just doing a more finished panel for this particular assignment. That doesn't mean that while I am walking around and looking at thumbnails over here and thumbnails over there and thumbnails over there that you can just sort of pick your nose and do nothing. My suggestion to you is even if I haven't looked at your thumbnails and roughs yet, it would still be a good time to start planning the larger scale ones, laying some of them out into the panels. Possibly some of you still haven't set the type in your full size panels. Actually, what I should do is actually print out, I'm going to do a couple of things before we get to some whatever, actually print out a grade sheet, because one of the things I'm going to grade you on is the fact that you even just use the panels correctly, set the type, things like that. There's easy points to be had for just doing that, okay? But if you're just writing the stuff in, you know, you'll not get the full 10 points in that category. So spending the time to type things out. So possibly even during class time you can type things out, okay? In other words, being productive with the 4 hours that we have here today. Secondarily, I've got a special extra assignment which gets you no credit whatsoever. It gets you goodwill, though, because I was asked by a faculty member just at lunchtime today to have my students, my creative students, which you guys fall into that category, a series of drawings based on music. Cartoons for the most part, and I actually have a lovely reference book to show you along those lines. In this scale, very small, okay, simple cartoons dealing with the only thing I can give you is music. Orchestras, rock and roll bands, guitars, preferably people playing musical instruments kind of thing, in a cartoon-like style, which I've got some examples of once again. And there's total freedom in particular. I'd love you to autograph them. I'd love to get for you in about 10 minutes time to actually do 2 of them. Okay, just about anything you want. And I'll give you a quickie demonstration too. And for those of you that haven't brought toys, I left my toy box. It's upstairs too. I had it set out. And I was getting these out of the printer. I set the little bunk box of tools down, and then I walked away with the tools sitting up there. So I'll have to go get them. I have the tools myself, and you can borrow some of mine if you did bring things. Although this is a drawing class, and I would think you did. And this is a charity thing, by the way. It's apparently they're going to take your drawings, whichever ones they deem are beautiful and lovely or whatever, and blow them up to a large scale. And I think probably, I don't know the process, but if I was doing it, I'd probably silk screen them onto plexiglass so that they're, no words, by the way, so they're going to be visible from two sides. So if you write the word music on it or something like that, it's seen from the back, it won't read, you know. And so ideally, no words should be involved with this thing, just the illustrations, just the imagery. And then they're going to be somehow hung and supported in some kind of special home for either the disabled. I don't quite get I didn't get the whole spiel. Probably I tuned it out after the first couple of minutes, but that's, you know. But I know it's a charitable sort of thing in particular. I'll hand these off to. And it was they had to have them in like less than 2 weeks, and I said, I've got a class this afternoon. And I would just assume you guys did it, and you know, then they could do something wonderful with your great ideas. And as I said, I've got some examples of it, and we're dealing with cartoons, boots, and fabric. Something simple, not going straight to the Louvre, not anatomy projects. It's that kind of thing. Really quite fun and musical and interesting. Just black and white. They'll add color in the computer or something like that. You know, maybe certain lines should be in color or something along those lines. And they even said that they were even going to think of plagiarizing and write on the book. But I'd rather they have real art. You know, whatever they do. And so that's something. I've got plenty of little boxes for everybody. If it slips out of the box, it's okay. They can worry about that. And as I said, okay, the way it's going to work out is, I said, I'm going to look at some of your thumbnails and roughs very quickly. I'll just snag one or two, and I'll go blow them up on the Xerox machine and show you the system that I normally use for these kind of things. One or two of you I see working on larger scale type imagery, and it may be that, you know, you are an individual that doesn't work very well on the small scale. Me, I work better on the small scale because I don't get nitpicky on the small scale. I can do just the shapes and the forms and the basic ideas, and then when I do the larger images, I can kind of make it prettier. Okay. Because we are trying to make things look pretty. Trying to make things get to a higher level. As I said, I've got a video I want to show you again. I'd like to try and get you to see something on a regular basis while in class, although it's rather short. A nice storyboard on the tail end of a movie on how a different kind of ending might have been used, and a fine example of pretty good drawings. You can tell that they were done in a fast mode that we are usually working in, mainly because you have other teachers that are asking great things of you. An interesting video showing viewpoints, different viewpoints. Because when I see storyboards a lot, and I may comment to you as I take a look at your roughs, okay, this is interesting, but now, you know, look at the cadence of how, if it was a film, how it would look. Very often we do that straight on shot, straight on shot, straight on shot, straight on shot. And by changing angles or viewpoints of characters, you break up the cadence. You break up what could be monotonous on the screen. Because if you had a conversation with a character or something like that in some film, and all you kept on seeing was side view, side view, side view, side view, over and over again, and it was a 20-minute conversation, I'm sorry, I'd be thinking about the snack bar and popcorn, and maybe I'll go to the bathroom, I'd lose interest. But if you notice, most films, they don't do that. They'll change the way things are shot. You know, I definitely want you in not just for this class, but for your career, looking at film a lot. Looking, you watch television, you watch movies, you watch, how Avatar is made.